Hey, what's up everyone? It's your good friend Eric Thompson. In this video, I'm going to show you what to do when you have an overpriced listing. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel, a big warm welcome to you. Welcome to the channel. Please subscribe so that you get more helpful videos just like this one. And also please give this a like if you like it. That will help me. Now I want to help you. So what do you do when you have an overpriced listing? I'm going to show you what to do, exactly how to have the conversation with the seller. First, let me acknowledge, I know it's hard. This is really hard. It's not fun. This is challenging. When you have a seller that's too aggressive, too optimistic, maybe they're living in the past and they don't quite get the realities of this market. You don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to offend them. And you want to help them. How do you help them when you have this listing that is way overpriced? So here's the thing that will be helpful. So the first thing to understand is that price and time are related. Now you already know this, okay? But we know that there is a direct correlation. There's a direct relationship between the price of the property and how long it will take for that property to sell. So here's what normally happens when we have an overpriced listing. We're letting the price dictate the timing. We're letting the price really create this very vague idea of when the property will ever sell, right? So we're letting the price push on the timing. It's pushing it out into the future, into this unknown time. We don't know when it's going to sell. We don't know when someone may come along and finally offer that price. It becomes especially challenging in a softening market, right? So this dynamic is a problem when we're letting the price have the say on the timing, because all that's happening is we're creating a very unclear picture of the timing, okay? That's obviously not helpful to you. It's obviously also not helpful to the seller. So what do we have to do is we have to switch up the dynamic. We have to flip this around. What we need to do is we need to let the timing goal influence the price. We need to talk about timing with the seller first before we talk about price. We need to let the timing build the context for the discussion about price. We need to let the timing frame up the conversation about price with the seller. We're not going to do this the other way around. So we're not going to have a conversation about price until we have a conversation about timing. This starts with my favorite question, which is, if you could wave your magic wand, when would be the ideal closing date? Like, when would the day be that the moving trucks are showing up in front of your home, that you're on to the next property, you're on to the next stage of your life? When would that be? What's the ideal timing for you if you could wave your magic wand? And they're going to tell you a date. You need to have them articulate a date, at least kind of an idea of a goal. Better yet, they can tell you an exact day. So when they tell you an exact day, now we're talking, now you can help them. So then what we can do is we can start to back up from that day, and we can say, okay, based on what you told me, we need to be under contract or in escrow by this date. And what that means is we need to have an offer in our hands by this date, because we know that there's gonna be a couple days of back and forth, all right? So this ideal closing date has turned into a day that we need to be under contract or in escrow, and then it's backed up even further, turned into a day that we need to have an offer in hand. So now we say to them, okay, to get the job done, to have an offer in hand by this date, and by the way, I know I'm showing this in 1 month, you probably need to show this in 2 or 3 months, because it takes longer than here to have a property go from in escrow under contract to close. But only had room to draw one calendar, right? So you get it. But now we can say to the seller, hey, in order to get the job done, for us to have an offer in hand by this date, now let's talk about price in order to accomplish that specific goal. And if this day comes and goes and we do not have an offer in hand, now we can go back to the seller and talk about price in the context of this timing goal that we are attempting to hit, which is their timing goal. Now, let me tell you this, if you are right now experiencing a property that's overpriced, if you're not sure what to do, what you can do is book a day on the calendar to meet with your seller in order to have a game plan meeting. Say, hey, there's some things we're learning about the market right now, some things that the market is telling us. Let's get together, let's talk about that, let's talk about a game plan. And if you don't already have a target closing date from them, that's when you ask them for that target closing date. And you can have this conversation even though you have an active listing. So for sure, this works when you are about to take on a listing, but it also works when you have a current listing that's overpriced. Get a meeting on the books and then bring your calendar with you and talk about the calendar. And then don't talk about price until you talk about the calendar. Talk about the calendar first. Talk about timing first before price. Let the timing goal influence the price discussion. Let the timing goal frame up the price discussion. You will put yourself and your seller in a much, much better position. Hey, again, I hope this was helpful. Give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all the things. Thank you so much for watching this video. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.